Hello, everyone. Good morning. A few of you are actually awake. This is good. Hi, Russ. Nice to see you here. I assume that none of you got here too terribly early this morning, so that's a good sign. It meant that you did manage to change your clocks, or if you overslept, you got a wonderful treat when you got here because we are actually here right now. And welcome back to Standard Time. I'm Reverend Mary Murray Shelton. I'm the community spiritual leader here at Golden Gate. I'm happy to welcome all of you. Wherever you are, wherever you may be on your pathway of faith, you are welcome here. And I just know that you're here by divine appointment. So there's something here this morning for you, whether it's in the message, the music, the fellowship, the coffee, who knows. But receive your gift, because that's what you're here for today. And for those of you online as well, welcome. Thanks for being here with us today. This is a beautiful first Sunday in November, and we're going to take this opportunity to welcome each other. So I invite you to stand up, walk around, introduce yourself to anybody you don't know, welcome people back, and just generally greet one another and make each other welcome. And you as well, online, dear friends, you go ahead and get yourself another cup of coffee, give yourself a hug. We'll be right back with you with our opening song in just a moment. Hello. Hi. So our special music this morning is Amy Steinberg, and Amy began studying music and theater when she was 4. She lives in Asheville, North Carolina. She is the creatrix of the House of Love and Light, which is an online spiritual community. She's been a music director in San Diego, Charlotte, Boca Raton. She loves the New Thought community, and she's really happy to be with us on video again this morning. So please stand with me and get ready for the morning song. And this is a song that we have sung before with Christy Snow because she wrote it. And Amy has added a little pop line to it from a pop hit that you may recognize when she introduces it. Here we go.
Good morning, Golden Gate. It's me, Amy Steinberg, and I'm so happy to be with you this morning. I'm going to open us up with an awesome song by Christy Snow. You might know it. It's called I Sing My Love. It's really catchy. You're going to catch on to it, and it helps to build that self-confidence and that faith in ourselves, and that's what we're talking about today. And in spirit, I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. You can sing that, right? I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. Then it goes like this. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. Try it with me. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. Then we're gonna funk it out like this. That's the way, I like it, That's the way, I like it. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. Dance it out. I dance my joy into the world. Sing it with me. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. The other melody now. I dance my joy. You got it. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. Come on. I dance my joy, yeah. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. That's the way I like it. Sing it with me. That's the way, I like it. That's the way, I like it. I live my peace. I live my peace. Come on. I live my peace. Yeah. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. I live it. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. Hey, I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. One more time. Come on. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. That's the way I like it. Come on. That's the way, I like it. That's the way, I like it.
You guys sound great.
One more time. I sing my love. I sing my love. Come on. I sing my love. Hey, I sing my love into the world. You got it now. I sing my love. Sing it with me. I sing my love. Yeah. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. Last time. I sing my love. Sing it out. I sing my love. Yeah. I sing my love into the world. Yeah.
Yay, Amy. Thank you, everybody. Wow, nice job. All right, so now that we've gotten all roused up, now we're going to go within and get quiet. But this is our opportunity now to center in community because we've established community together. So when we do this, each one of us, as we go within, we empower each other to do so. And so I want to invite our morning practitioner, Lori Greer, up to begin for us right now.
And so taking a breath and following that breath into our bodies and dropping down into the very center of our being. I recognize here that there is only one power, one presence, one love, one life. And in this one life, there are infinite forms, uncountable stars, grains of sand on the beach, blades of grass, and people. Infinite love pouring itself forth into every expression that is it. Each one of us, a part of, an expression of the divine. And so as I speak my word today, for everyone, I speak it in the first person and just invite every person to know this same truth for themselves, because truly we are one. The one mind is the only thing that is expressing here, the one mind revealing itself through us, individualized, unique. And so I claim right here and right now that that one love, that one power, that one joyful voice is speaking through me. It is living its life as me, unfolding in unknown ways that surprise me and delight me and make me sad. And all of it's God. And I take comfort in knowing, in this deep, deep faith, that everything that is happening is simply God revealing itself through me and through my life. And so I claim right here in this moment an opening in mind, a shift in consciousness that allows for me to let go of any doubt or any sense of fear or anything that is not in perfect alignment with the knowing of the deepest truth that is that I am a part of God. I am one with God. and that my life is truly blessed in infinite ways. And so I choose to connect with my faith, to live from a place of deep knowing that I am always supported, I am always provided for, sustained, and I am always guided, divinely guided and directed into the perfect next step. Even amongst chaos, I know there is order. And so I sing my love, I sing my joy, I sing my peace into the world because I live from this place of deep faith. And so I invite each one to know that this same truth is available. We have the power of God within us. And so I just give thanks for knowing that this day is revealing to me wondrous unfoldment in the perfect time, in the perfect way, and that there is always a gift. So I give thanks for the demonstration of this prayer, for the ways that the law takes it and manifests it in my life in beautiful, delightful ways. So I release my word now into the law, and I let it be done, and so it is.
Sorry.
You could go ahead and tiptoe through your life, digging in the dirt, stress on the strife. But I'm gonna fly past the worry and the pain today. I'm flying on faith. I'm flying on faith. You could cry all night about the things that you hate, so dissatisfied in so many ways, but I'm gonna find a way to celebrate today. I'm flying on faith. I'm flying on faith. I picked up my baggage and I threw it out the door. I'm not looking back because the past is such a bore. I'm gonna stand with the moon, with the stars up in my face. Today, I'm flying on faith. I'm flying on faith. You could hurry full of worry, let the fear take you out, imagining the worst overcome with doubt. There's no way to know, knowing is the way today. Today, I'm flying on faith. I'm flying on faith. I picked up my baggage and I threw it out the door. Not looking back because the past is such a bore. I'm gonna stand with the moon, with the stars up in my face. Today, I'm flying on faith. I'm flying on faith. Say that with me. I'm flying on faith. I'm flying on faith. Feels good. Said you could go ahead and tiptoe through your life, digging in the dirt, you could stress on the strife. But I'm gonna fly past the worry and the pain today. I'm flying on faith. Yes.
One of the things I enjoy about Amy is she's always so playful with everything that she does. She enjoys what she's singing so much, whether it's heartfelt or humorous or inspiring. So always glad to have her. So today, as we continue our theme this year of living out loud, and we're in this 8-week process of following the yellow brick road. I'm going to start off, because this will keep me from forgetting it, to draw your attention to your little journals now, right? And if you brought it with you this morning, there is a place in here on page 23 that is self-confidence, arrows in both directions, faith, which is the topic I'm talking about today, which means that it works both ways, right? So when our faith increases, it tends to increase our self-esteem, and the same the other direction. And similarly, in a lot of situations, if our faith falters, so does our self-esteem. And if our self-esteem falters, so does our faith. So this quote is especially one that I like from Georgia O'Keeffe. I've been absolutely terrified every moment of my life. And I've never let it keep me from doing a single thing I wanted to do. And that's the way, to live our lives, really. So hopefully when you walked in the door today, you got your little yellow brick of faith, all right? So we're building our yellow brick road, right? And inside your journal, there's a place that says, I release, and there's a line to fill in, I release in order to strengthen my faith. And so do we still have extra journals back there, Paula? Yes. So we do have the bricks as well, and we have the past bricks as well. So if you have not ever gotten a journal, raise your hand and Paula will bring you one. And then anybody that needs a pen, also give a wave. And if you did not get, Tom needs both. Okay, Tom Merrill needs both right over here. And then Russ needs, he needs a journal. And then if you need a pen also, give a wave so that you can get one of those as she goes around, because we're going to take a moment right now to fill this in. And then what you do after you have written in here, what will you release to include more possibilities, you write that in. Now, what happens when you're choosing something and saying, I'm releasing this in order to create more of this in my life? It's as if you're walking through a doorway. And when you go through the doorway, in order to pass through, you have to leave something behind. So what you're leaving behind is this old thing that stands in the way of you having greater faith and self-confidence. So write whatever that is on the line. I release whatever it is in order to strengthen my faith. And then what happens when you let something go, of course, is that the universe gives you something to replace it, something to fill in that space. We've heard the universe abhors a vacuum. So rather than leaving it as a vacuum, we're putting in faith. So when you get home, take your glue stick and stick some glue on the back of your little brick and put it on top of that square inside. So now you've let go of what is underneath it in order to include more faith. So it will look like that. And that's what works on every single one of our Sundays. Now, the other thing you'll notice is that just opposite this page, there's a place for notes. Notes on the Sunday talk, if you want to take notes. And the next 2 pages are journal pages where you can write anything about your process of becoming more aware of your faith and your self-confidence and the way that they interact with each other. So this is kind of a fun process we're doing in our 8-week program for intentional giving. So next week when we come together, that will be the time that we as a congregation do our giving intention ritual. And this year, as we do this, because it gets to be kind of exhausting to put together a program every year, we're doing this for 2 years. So when you pray over your giving, like what you want to be guided to make as your intention next week, I encourage you to pray on that, so that when you come in, you're all set. Recognize that you're going to fill in the form like it's for 1 year. We're just going to apply it to 2024 and 2025. So don't double it on the page or you'll completely confuse us, right? It's just 1 year's worth you're putting on there, but you mean it for both those years. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So that's what we're doing next week. We're going to have a little ritual for that process where we will go within and ask for guidance. But I'm encouraging you to do that in advance and to recognize that that's part of what's happening next Sunday. So we'll be here to enjoy that together next week. And speaking about the self-confidence, to have self-confidence in your faith, Reverend Ike used to say, you have to speak your word with authority. And you have to mean it. You have to mean it when you speak it, when you declare it, when you claim it. So when we do treatment, it's not meant to be hopeful, although we may be hopeful. It's not meant to be pleading. Hopefully we aren't pleading. But it's meant to be a declaration of the spiritual truth. And we declare and focus on that spiritual truth until it shows up in form. Because that mismatch of vibrations between what we're declaring and what is, something needs to shift so that those vibrations come into alignment. So when we hold a particular vibration and we stay focused on that, then the circumstances around us come to match that somehow. Maybe not in the way that we expected, but they come into alignment somehow, or we get moved someplace else that's more in alignment with that vibration. You with me so far? Yes. So speaking of keeping our faith strong, a woman who was well known for her faith and her boldness in talking about it would stand on her front porch and shout, "Praise the Lord!" And an atheist who lived next door found this very irritating. He would get so annoyed and tired of her proclamations, he would come out of his house, stand on the porch, and shout at her, "Lady, there ain't no Lord. Give it a rest." As it happened, hard times set in, and the woman was struggling to make ends meet. So she prayed for God to send her some assistance. And she'd stand on her front porch and shout out loud, "Praise the Lord, praise God." And then she'd shout, "God, I need food this week. I'm having a hard time. Please, Lord, send me some groceries." Well, the next morning, as the woman went out onto her porch for her morning prayer, she noticed a large bag of groceries waiting for her right there on the porch. And she shouted, "Praise the Lord." And the neighbor jumped out at her from behind a bush. And he said, "Aha, I told you there was no Lord. I bought you those groceries myself. God didn't." She was not fazed by this in the least. Instead, she started jumping up and down, clapping her hands. And then she hollered, "Praise the Lord. He not only sent me groceries, he made the devil pay for them." However we conceive of our faith, the universe tends to match it for us. So we don't have to be right about what we believe for it to look around us in the world like that's the truth, because our brains filter out anything that doesn't match what we already believe. Now, it may be that we do perceive certain realities that we don't believe in or agree with or like or whatever, and those then we have a system, a self-protection system inside of ourselves where we just label those as, the outlier, the odd exception, rather than actually challenging the belief that we have in our heads. So when we become more confident, no matter what it's about, when we become more confident, then we become more willing to try, to learn and be in the public process of learning, and to fail and make mistakes. Because when we have self-confidence, we realize that mistakes are not failures. They are actually part of what is essential to create success. Most success comes out of some kind of experience, and most experience comes out of failures. I mean, we remember our failures and learn from them because we don't want to repeat that again. We don't want to have that experience. So if we never fail, we don't stretch, we don't learn, we don't grow. So we want to stretch our faith or stretch our self-confidence, because when we stretch one, we're stretching both of them. They rely on one another. And once we have an experience of success, that leads to an increase in our faith and in our confidence. So when we're being successful, when we're building a track record of success, we wind up beginning to believe that we have the capacity to succeed because we have evidence to that point, to that belief. And as that self-confidence grows, then we have more faith to try more things, to do things we have been afraid to do before because we might succeed at them. We've got a Canadian friend who is Métis. She's Native American. And she's a singer and an actress, and she's brilliant. And for some reason, she's from Saskatchewan, and I suspect this was around home. She was at some kind of a rodeo or something where they had an axe throwing contest. And she put this little blurb on YouTube of her throwing an axe. And I can't imagine trying to throw an axe. And she's there in her little, knitted cap. And she takes this axe and she throws it at the target, which is like an archery target. And she hits it dead center. And she goes to whoever's next to her. And then the caption she put on it was, apparently, I'm an axe throwing genius. So, you never know. Maybe the first time you try something, you might succeed, but you might not. But getting out there and trying it is the beginning of the success. Sometimes if you get really attached to the success that you had on the first try, you don't do it the next time or the next time. I was in West Side Story many years ago, and I was playing one of the shark girls. And we were working on a dance number, and the choreographer wanted us to do this shimmy thing. And so we would do a kick and then a shimmy. And we were trying to practice this. And she said, oh, Mary Murray's got it. Show everybody. Do you think I could do it again? I never did it right again. Only the one time she happened to notice me over there, because I got self-conscious about it. And I couldn't just let go to the experience to do it after that, which was too bad. But see, that's what happens. Sometimes early success can screw us up because then we are afraid we can never match it again. Somebody who was in a movie with Meryl Streep, somebody was interviewing her about the movie, and they said, well, you're Meryl Streep after all. You have all these successes and, all these awards and everything. So why are you nervous going into this? And she said, you think that makes it easier? No, because you're watching yourself in a different kind of way, and you're thinking about what's the impact going to be with other people if I don't pull this off, even though she has a long track record, right, of pulling those things off. Al Neuwirth said, I quit being afraid when my first venture failed and the sky didn't fall down. I quit being afraid when my first venture failed and the sky didn't fall down. In other words, it's not the end of the world. Whoa, what a revelation. We weren't sure before we failed that it wouldn't be the end of the world if we did. But somehow when we survive it, there's a little more freedom, a little more resilience in our possibilities. John Wooden, the famous coach, said, do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. That, I think, is terrific advice. Do what you're good at, stretch in that area. Don't stop doing the stuff that's peripheral around that just because something on this end you're not very good at. Don't let that get in the way. And that, I think, is wonderful advice. Norman Vincent Peale said, believe in yourself, have faith in your abilities. Without a humble but reasonable confidence in your own powers, you cannot be successful or happy. This is kind of the Charlie Brown syndrome, where his inner fear and voice is always telling him he's going to fail. Even in the moment that he's hopeful, he sort of half expects to fail anyhow, even if he gives it another shot. And what we want to be able to do is look at the possibility that we're going to do well or not do well as, let's see what happens, and then take what comes and go from there with it, not as negative feedback, but as feedback that helps us in our expression of growth and unfoldment. So we want to take those successes and let them increase our faith and our confidence. Barry Davenport, I'm not sure who this is, but some of you may know. Barry Davenport said, self-confidence can be learned, practiced, and mastered, just like any other skill. Once you master it, everything in your life will change for the better. Once you master it. And I don't know if this is true for everybody, but one of the things that happened to me when I was a kid is that I had a particular teacher in high school who believed in me. And that began to show me something about myself that I hadn't been really aware of in that way before. Does that make sense? Sometimes it's a grandparent. Sometimes it's a friend or a friend's parent. Sometimes it's a coach or a teacher. Somebody that notices us and gives us encouragement will allow us to move forward in ways that we were afraid to, or maybe thought that we couldn't. So I love this little image. So what this shows us is here we are rooted in the divine presence. Rooted, it says grounding mystery. And the grounding mystery that emerges is faith. Now, faith then takes us to some interesting places. Faith leads us toward letting go into the creative law. It leads us toward being willing to surrender to something greater than we are and to have trust in that. And when we do that, we move into integrity with it, which creates for us an empathy that leads to compassion. Now we're exceeding the baseline of ego strength. We're moving up into the field of oneness. We move into compassion. So when we let go into the creative law, what we begin to see is new results. In fact, it sometimes gives us context for looking at old results that we got that weren't so pleasant, and we can see in retrospect what it was that we were expecting and believing and cultivating inwardly that actually led to those results. So as we get new results, as we begin to apply new awareness, it's encouraging to us. Ernest Holmes wrote in this thing called You, learn to exchange fears, doubts, and uncertainties for faith. Faith can make you whole. Faith can convert fear into certainty, poverty into riches, disease into health. Faith can lift you from a valley of despair into a mountain of hope and certainty. There is a power which flows out through your words of faith. There is a law of faith which has the power to bring into your life everything you need. So when we then let go and we begin to see new results, it gives us then more faith in the creative law and more confidence in our ability to use it because of that responsiveness. The universe doesn't go ahead of us and try and make us into something. It follows us and reflects back to us what we're sending to it. So we can have a sense of where we are and what course adjustments we want to make. So we've got then this movement of compassion that moves us up into an experience of goodwill, more goodwill from us to others, and then from others back to us. See, this is a circular process up here. So this goodwill and faithfulness, this trustworthiness, moves us up into an experience of genuine community, which all of us need. It's part of our fuel, part of our nourishment that keeps us going. In the book of Hebrews, St. Paul said, now faith is the substance of things hoped for. In other words, the thing that we hope for will ultimately come into form made out of our faith. The faith itself is the raw material, the substance, the soul stuff, Ernest Holmes called it, the creative medium in the law. Our faith shapes that and becomes that experience that person, place, or thing, that whatever it is that we're aiming toward creating in our experience. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, as it was the substance of things which have come to pass. And it is the evidence of things not seen. Our inner faith is the evidence of things not seen. So there's such value in us allowing that faith to expand. You know, it's tricky for us in the world today because there's so much about life that is uncertain. And there's so much desire to be right, to call it right. I mean, so much of what is on news programs right now is attempts at predicting what's going to happen. They don't know. They're looking at studies and polls. And do you know how many polls I get an email in a week that I just delete? You know, they're not getting my opinion. I don't know if they're getting yours. So how can they actually have a clue what's going to happen when they don't have a full picture? Does this make sense, what I'm saying? So we're watching these things, and if they're spending time just telling you what they've already told you, or trying to second guess what the future is going to be like, you can do that. So there's a place in which we want to be able to not appear to be naive. And so the opposite of being naive ought to be informed, aware, but really in our culture it tends to be cynicism. It tends to be sarcasm and doubt and smartness somehow. And I think maybe it's better to be a little naive. Maybe it's better to be a little more trusting, a little more loving. It certainly is a more internally peaceful place to be than to be so smart all the time that we never make space for anything. And it's really hard for us to increase our faith when we're busy being smart. Does this make sense, what I'm saying to you? I mean, I've gone through my share of being smart at times. And I can do it, and I can make people laugh. It doesn't feel good. And so ultimately, I got to move on from that. And I learned that in high school. So it keeps revealing itself to me that that's the truth, that I would rather anchor myself in faith and belief than in skepticism, hopelessness, doomsaying, and all that stuff, right? So when I move into that greater experience of faith, I'm like a little child learning to walk. You know, we all learned to walk, and probably we learned because somebody encouraged us. So, in following the yellow brick road, in the story of the Wizard of Oz, I've said before that all of those creatures, and Dorothy and Toto, all of them on the path, on the yellow brick road, have something they want that they actually already have, but they don't recognize the degree to which they have it until an authority acknowledges it and gives them some kind of recognition that allows them to see and feel and recognize it and have faith in it in themselves. So we believe in ourselves because they do. When you see parents, like the story I read last week, encouraging a little child to walk, to take their first steps, you can see the child is sort of like unsteady, but really determined, you know, and they're concentrating and they're really responding to the enthusiastic encouragement of the parents, like, you can do it, come on, you can do it, you can do it, come on, you can do it. That kind of thing. We believe in ourselves because they do. Robin Myers in the Underground Church said, by the choice of a single word, by a glance, by saying something that is encouraging, we project our evaluations of worthiness on every human being. On every human being we come into contact with. Now that's a great thing to project onto somebody. Project our evaluation of their worthiness. I remember being in Practitioner 2 class and our instructor saying to us, your job as a practitioner is to love them more than they hate themselves. Now that sounds dire. But hate is kind of a movable thing on a continuum, from being dissatisfied with ourselves to outright detesting ourselves. There's a kind of a continuum there that any of us can land on at some place in time. The practitioner isn't stuck in the same places that we are, or if they are in their own life, they're still not stuck in our situation. So they can always see the truth for us very much more easily than we can see it for ourselves. And they can encourage us, and they can know that truth, and we can begin to have faith in what they declare for us because they do. We're essentially leaning on that faith ourselves. That's what practitioners do for us. That's what they offer for us. Mary Pfeiffer said, "We accept our grandchildren for the unique beings they are. This acceptance gives them the confidence to feel they are worthy of the deep love they're given. It helps them see the universe as safe." It helps them see the universe as safe. A safe place for us all to be. So when we start to recognize and trust our gifts, because of that encouragement, we actually experience not only a change in consciousness, but also a change in our power, our perception of our own power to do something or to change something or to accomplish something like walking. When my niece, who's only 5-6 years younger than I am, was tiny, I remember being over at my brother's house, and my niece was probably less than 2 years old. And they had cement steps in front of their house, 3 steps. And Tammy would climb up and down those steps. She was crawling then. Climb up and down, up and down, up and down those steps. She loved crawling up and down the steps. And then she got too tired to climb anymore. And she just put her head down and bawled because she was having so much fun experiencing her own power to do that. It was delighting her beyond anybody's expectation of how delighted she would be about something like that. This is a story I'm going to share with you about an unexpected gift that created encouragement that had not been foreseen and resulted in a bond that had not previously been possible. I gripped the handles of my husband John's wheelchair and maneuvered him through our front door. "Careful, watch the leg," John murmured hazily, still out of it from the pain meds he'd been prescribed at the hospital. "We'll be careful, Daddy," our 7-year-old daughter Allison replied. "Don't worry," I added, as if I'd done anything but worry since that car accident 2 weeks earlier that had shattered John's left ankle. Frankly, I was worried sick. He'd finally been cleared to go home, but the doctor ordered him to keep all weight off his leg for 2 months. He could only get around with a wheelchair and a walker. I'm a high school teacher, and I couldn't be home during the day to help care for him. John's mom was glad to come over and fix his lunch and make sure he did his physical therapy exercises. But I knew she would need help to cheer him up and distract him from the pain. I sent up a quick, silent prayer. "Lord, I need some backup here." Allison and I wheeled John into the living room. Sprawled out on our sectional sofa, taking up a whole cushion, was the oldest and largest of our 3 cats, Tootsie, a black and white 12-year-old. Tootsie raised her head and yawned, barely glancing at John in his wheelchair. "Tootsie, make room for Daddy," I said. "He's hurting, and he's going to be living out here while he gets better." Tootsie put her head down and closed her eyes. She didn't budge. I helped John get out of his wheelchair. He hopped to the other end of the sectional, as far from Tootsie as possible. Oh boy, I thought. With John's range limited to our living room and the guest room, he'd have no way to avoid the bane of his existence, Queen Tootsie, and her 2 subjects, Jade and Blue. John knew what he was getting into when he married a cat lady, but just because he had to live with my felines didn't mean he had to like them. Every time friends came over, he would say, only half joking, "Are you sure I can't talk you into taking Lori's 3 sorry cats home with you? I'll give you a good price. Free." As far as John was concerned, Tootsie was the worst of the cat crew. Her robust figure, she outweighed the other two cats combined, and imperious attitude reminded me of a feline Mae West. Maybe because she was so domineering, John complained about her the most. Tootsie, of course, never took the slightest interest in him, not even with his left ankle in his walking boot encroaching on her territory. I rubbed Tootsie between her shoulder blades and whispered, "You be nice to John, okay?" And I sent up another SOS. "Lord, please make sure Tootsie behaves." The rehabilitation therapist visited John the next day while I was at school. I rushed home to find John slumped on the couch, the elastic bands for his ankle stretches lying on the floor. "How did the exercises go?" I asked. "They hurt," John grumbled. And I could hardly concentrate with that cat staring at me like I'm a goldfish swimming in a bowl. What's up with that? Tootsie looked at me innocently from the end of the sectional. One night when I was watching television in the living room, John shuffled in with his walker. "Can't sleep again," he mumbled. He sat down on the other end of the sectional and groaned. Just then, Tootsie stretched, yawned, and waddled toward him. "Oh no, Tootsie," I thought. "Now's not the time to claim your space. Just leave him alone." But Tootsie plopped down at John's side, her long tail twitching. She nudged him gently. After a second, he absent-mindedly reached out and scratched her underneath her chin. Tootsie purred. First, softly, like a spring shower. And then it turned into the deep rumble of a waterfall. "Thanks, girl," John murmured, closing his eyes. His whole body seemed to relax. Tootsie curled closer, purring softly until they both fell into a deep sleep as I watched, amazed. "Did you just do that, God?" The next morning, I gathered my supplies for school and went to check on John. He was pulling himself upright in his walker, and Tootsie stood on the floor by his side. "Tootsie, make sure Daddy does his exercises," I joked. She rubbed against John's walking boot and meowed. I kissed John goodbye. Day after day, it was the same routine. The last thing I would see before heading out was Tootsie right by John's side. "I appreciate the company, I guess," John admitted one day. "At least I have an audience when I'm doing my stretches. She paces the room watching me. She must be counting. She'd pounce on me if I left an exercise out." I laughed, but inside I was bursting with relief. Then came the afternoon. I found them on the sofa side by side, John stroking Tootsie's fur. "Well, look at you two," I said. "Aren't you glad you didn't give her away?" John looked at me with a seriousness I didn't expect. I couldn't sleep again last night. The worst time is always around 2 or 3 in the morning when the pain meds wear off and before I can take my next dose. Tootsie was right next to me like this. I actually started to talk to her. She rolled onto her back. I rubbed her tummy and she rumbled like a freight train. Took my mind completely off the pain. John paused to scratch Tootsie behind the ears. "Being cooped up inside all day is making me crazy. I don't know, Lori, but it's like Tootsie's an anchor for me to hold on to. When I'm with her, I know I'm going to be okay. It's the strangest thing. I thought I couldn't stand this cat." I studied Tootsie as she lay snuggled up next to John, purring. During John's toughest moments, when I couldn't be there, Tootsie was. I had asked God for backup. I just never expected it in the form of my big bossy cat. When John took his first steps without the walker, Tootsie high-stepped next to him, her chest puffed out, beaming like a proud mama. Soon John was back to his old wisecracking self. He had a slightly different line now when friends came over, though. "Will you take these two sorry cats of Lori's home with you?" he'd ask with a smile. "You can't have Tootsie. She's all mine." This is just a lovely little story about what happens when faith gets shifted. Something about her behavior toward him allowed him to see her and have faith in her loving kindness toward him. And somehow that began to restore his self-confidence that he was going to be all right. It was the two of them weathering it together. And that's what encouragement does for us and for other people. One gift we can always give is encouragement. And so we carry that gift with us already. We've been given the capacity to do that. So let's take this week and grow our own faith in our ability to use the creative law by being more encouraging to ourselves first and to other people as well, because that is what really takes us forward. Now let's take a moment to anchor that in prayer. So right here, right now, in this sacred time and space, we are one in consciousness. There is one presence that fills this place and everything and everyone in it. Nothing is left out. It is a presence of infinite power and intelligence and vast, boundless love. Out of itself has come everything that is. Its intention to express has resulted in all of creation, including us. And we are the embodiment of that power, of that love, of that intelligence. Knowing and having faith in this, I name and call forth that love, intelligence, and power into my life this week and into all of our lives this week. I know that we are up to it. We're ready for it. We're capable of it. We've been created for this. And so encouragement flows forth lovingly everywhere that we go and inwardly toward ourselves, empowered by this awareness of the presence of Spirit within and around us, giving us and replenishing that gift within us again and again. I'm so grateful that this is the truth of who we are and always has been. I'm so grateful for the law that helps to make us not only more aware of it, but more willing to live it, to try it, to learn it, to do it. This is taking place through us, as us, for us, in us, right now, bringing us into alignment with the spiritual truth of what we have always and ever been. So with loving gratitude, we let this prayer go into the creative law of mind and spirit and just let it be so. And therefore, so it is. Please stand now and join me for the morning affirmation. We say this together. I have faith in myself. I know that since I'm an expression of God, I am safe, whole, and wise. I take the time I need to make decisions and to be comfortable. As I do this, my self-confidence grows stronger, and I'm more willing to put myself out there. When I succeed, my faith also increases, and so it is. You may be seated. Thank you. This is our time of sacred giving, so I want to invite the ushers to come forward up here to prepare and receive the offering. We're going to, in just a moment, bless the offering being given this morning. And remember, even if you aren't making a contribution financially today, your presence here is a gift. So when we do the blessing, be sure that you bless yourself as well as whatever you may be giving. And we do that by saying the blessing together, but also holding the gift over our hearts, or if you're giving it with a loved one, hold it in your hands together. If you want a text donation, particularly for those of you online, the number's up on the screen. It's 415-779-7613. And we welcome all of your donations and contributions with great gratitude. So let's take a moment right now to bless this with the intention of sending it out into the world to do this wonderful work. As we say together, this gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is.
there is only one you. And my, how you shine. Shine, be glorious, reflect the divine. Shine, be glorious, reflect the divine. Spirit of mine, Spirit divine, let me shine your light. I open my heart, even in the dark. The light of my God always shines bright, even in the night. So shine, be glorious, reflect the divine. Shine, be glorious, reflect the divine. Spirit of mine, Spirit divine, let me shine your light. Let me be a vessel, let me be a vessel, yeah. Let me be a vessel of love. I open my heart this miracle day. The love of my God gives me it all the good I can take. So shine, be glorious, and reflect the divine. Shine, be glorious, reflect the divine. Spirit of mine, Spirit divine, let me shine your light. Let me be a vessel, let me be a vessel, let me be a vessel of love. Let me be a vessel, let me be a vessel, won't you? Let me be a vessel of love. Turn to someone and tell them, shine, shine, be glorious,
Be glorious.
reflect the divine. Go ahead and shine.
So, on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, we do, all of us together, accept this offering, and we send it out into the world to encourage people to shine. And so it is. So if you're with us now today for the very first time, back at this back table, we have welcome packets and a lot of other things that you can pick up, handouts of various sorts. But do pick up a welcome packet. You'll find a blue card inside that looks like this. If you fill that out and turn it in back there, Amanda's going to give you a little book as our thank you for being here this morning, and also as an invitation for you to come back and be with us often in the future. It's a great little book called Nourishing Thoughts, and it's really helpful in getting us back to center when we need that kind of encouragement. So I encourage you to use it as well. Also, I want to thank everybody that participated this morning in putting this wonderful service together. This fabulous Nightmare Before Christmas Wizard of Oz altar. You'll never see anything like this anywhere else. From the Frost family this morning, you got to come up and see all this. It's so great. And we have two practitioners at the practitioner table this morning who jumped in at the last minute because our practitioner had been exposed to COVID and decided it wouldn't be wise for her to be here. And so these two stepped in, so we're very grateful for them. And of course, everybody who participated in any way this morning. So let's give everybody a hand. And this is the first Sunday of November, and we have November birthdays. In fact, today is Rick Walt's birthday. So, yes. So all of you that have a November birthday, would you stand, please? We're going to sing you happy birthday. Yes. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear November. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Rick. All right. You may have noticed in the email that you got on Tuesday that we're inviting you to take a survey. It's only 3 questions. It's multiple choice. It couldn't be easier. And it's on surveymonkey.com at this thing. You'll see it, I think, in your bulletin this morning and also in the newsletter that went out via email. It's just 3 questions about activities that you might be interested in. And there's also, I think, a place for suggestions there as you go through. We'd love it if you would just take a few minutes to go online and fill that out. It will really help us as we're looking into the next year or two, what kinds of things we want to bring forward to do together. Also, for those of you that weren't here last week, I want to let you know that we are moving our offices. And we're going to be in this building on Irwin Street on the 2nd floor. There's plenty of parking under the freeway. It's close to where the SMART train stops. There are bus stops all around. And although it's on the 2nd floor, there is an elevator. So we are upstairs on the freeway side. When you come out the elevator, you're going to turn right, and then you're going to turn right down the corridor, and the very first door on your left will be us. And we're moving in there the beginning of December. So we'll have a new mailing address at that time, and that will be our office space and potentially learning center, depending on how much space we determine we have once we've got our stuff in there. Also, just to remind you, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, the community center here will be closed. We'll be holding our services at the regular time at 10 o'clock, but we'll be over at the Best Western Corte Madera, on Madera, wherever that is from here. Like back there, Madera Boulevard, I think it is. It's sort of over there. I mean, I'm directionally challenged. You know where it is. Sophie says it's over there, so fine. Where it's down there somewhere. And we've had services there before, so it won't be hard to find it. There's the address up there for you. I know where it is. I just can't actually tell you. Also, our next service at the San Francisco Marin Food Bank is coming up on the 14th of November from noon to 2 p.m. It's at the San Rafael warehouse, and mostly it just entails packing food. That's going to go out to distribution centers closer to where people live. Ellen Nicosia is here this morning right over here. If you get your information to Ellen by the 7th of November, she can get you on the list to be one of the volunteers from Golden Gate. You'll be there with our volunteers and others from other places. You don't even have to try and call her or text her this morning because you can just talk to her. So look for Ellen. She's got a name tag on and everything. And she'll be happy to get you signed up. Also, the Women's Drumming Circle is active again, and that is happening on Wednesday, November 15th from 7 to 8:30 at Unity of Marin. There is an RSVP kind of registration link up here if you want to go and drum, ladies. Unfortunately, gentlemen, this particular drumming is not for you. But you can go and just listen. There are drums I think you can borrow, or you can take yours and go and participate, even if you've never done it before. That's coming up on the 15th. This coming week, because Amanda and I are leaving right after the service to go to New York for a memorial service this week, the Wednesday evening meditation is canceled this week, but it will be back on starting the following week and then going forward from there. Now, I've already mentioned to you that we have our fill-in practitioners, Leslie Giannetti and Selma Baumfim, at the table over here this morning. If you have anything on your heart that's troubling you, come to them after the service. They will take you aside and do prayer with you. That's a free service from our practitioners on Sunday. You can also put a request in the prayer box or make a request online from our website under the resources tab. And anything in the prayer box will be prayed for over this week completely by these two that are here. So we're very grateful for their filling in and also being here to serve this morning. So I want to invite the practitioners now to surround the room as we prepare to close the service. So we join together in loving consciousness right now. And as you listen to this prayer, just let it sink into your subconscious. This is sacred space and sacred time. I lift my attention to the presence of all that is. I allow myself to feel the amazing awe of this universe in all of its creation, in all of its glory, in all of its gifts, surprises, and continual discovery of new wonders. All of the potential and all of the activity that's happening in the universe is also right here in me, right now. I have never been everything that's in here. It is endless in its manifestation, opportunities for me to grow and learn and expand and express. And this is true of everyone in this room, everyone hearing this message, this prayer, everyone, everywhere. There is no history that can hold us back. There is no limitation that can stop us from expressing and experiencing our wholeness exactly as we are. We are truly in the spiritual realm, whole, complete, and perfect, always, always and ever, and we always have been. We let go of all our belief in our limitations, in our shortcomings, and we allow ourselves to step more fully into the truth of who we are with celebration, with awe, with delight, and with great gratitude. We step into this week and let it be in all its wondrous unfoldment. And together we say, and so it is. Yes. Please stand now and join us in the closing blessing and song. And we say this closing blessing also together. I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for Spirit and all people and I are one eternally, and so it is. And this is a Ricky Byers song that we probably know, and she sings it with great
Golden Gate, thank you
reverence.
again for having me. We're going to close with a classic Ricky Byers song. We let this love, this self-love, this faith, this joy wash over us. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. Peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. Let's sing the love one more time. We let the love, come on. We let the love wash over us. We let it be.